Let's talk about how to write a research proposal. A research proposal is often required when you're applying for MPhil or PhD. It's a requirement. You cannot apply for MPhil or PhD without a research proposal. You also use your research proposal to secure a supervisor. Sometimes when you reach out to potential supervisors, they ask you to send your research proposal so that they can read through and determine whether your research interest aligns with the research work they do. So let's have a look at the different sections that you can add in your research proposal. Firstly, go to the link in the description and get your scholarship application document tool. This tool will help you to write your own documents, not just a research proposal, but other documents like personal statement or academic CV. You will find prompts that will help you to write your own documents. You also find samples to help you or to guide you to write your own document. So go get it in the link. The link is in the description. Now, a research proposal details what you intend to research on. You are giving the reader or your potential supervisor or the scholarship committee like a plan that it is different from a research plan. Don't get confused. Research plan is more like an outline and is often for masters by research. It's not as detailed as a research proposal, but for proposal, you add more flesh. You add more flesh and more explanation of the type of research you want to go into. Of course, the first thing that you need to write is your title, a precise title that reflects the scope and focus of your research. One thing you should understand is that title changes. Right now, you need a title that can help you to write your research proposal, but don't spend so much time on finding a perfect title. There's no perfect title. You find a working title. It will always change, where once you get admitted into the program and you have a discussion with your supervisors and you brainstorm ideas about your research studies, you find that the title will change. So find something that works, that will help you, that will help with the direction of your research proposal. The next thing is your introduction and your background. You can combine these two or you can separate them, but it will depend on the page limit. Sometimes they do give you a page limit to say you should write a 10-page research proposal. If you have that kind of limit and you don't have room to write a lot of information, then you can combine this. But if there are no limits in terms of pages that you can write for your research proposal, perhaps you can separate your introduction and your background. So you have to give an overview of the problem. What is the problem you are trying to solve? What is the problem your research is trying to address? You have to give context. Assuming that your research might be read by someone who is not in your field, they should be able to understand your research proposal. It should not be too technical, and you have to give the current state of research in your field. Show that you understand the field. Show that you have done some research. You have find out what other people are doing and what gaps did you identify in the literature that you read. So basically you give like you introduce your research to the person who will be reading your research proposal. Then then justification or significance. You explain the importance of your research. Every research is important, but you have to show how important it is, because somebody might read your research proposal and not understand exactly how important your research is. So don't assume that because you think your research is important, don't assume that the next person will also think the same. You have to justify why your research is important and how it's going to make an impact academically, socially, or contextually within your country. And then literature review, of course, you have to do like a brief synthesis of existing studies, existing knowledge, and the gap your study aims to fill. I know I mentioned that in the introduction, but don't go too much into details on that on the introduction. You can do it in the literature review. You have to read literature and find out what other researchers have done that relates to your research interest. What have they done? What have they found out? And as you read their work, the literature, what gaps are you identifying, and how can your own research fill in those gaps? So that's basically what the literature is about. And try to use um, what do you call empirical literature. Don't use like web pages, information that you find in blogs. Don't do that. Find articles, published articles that that were written by other researchers. Find articles that you can use. That gives you more credibility and it adds more weight to your research proposal than you just finding random information from newspaper websites or from blogs. Just focus on empirical literature. And then for your methodology, you have to explain how you are going to conduct your study. Are you going to do a mixed method? Are you going to do a qualitative? Are you going to do quantitative? How are you going to collect data? How are you going to get ethical clearance? Who is your sample? Who is your population? You have to mention that. And when you mention your methodology, you have to justify everything. The population that you have chosen, your sample, your method of data collection, you have to justify why you are choosing that kind of methodology. And you justify with literature. You don't just say, I'm choosing qualitative because it's more convenient. No, you cannot use your own opinion. You have to find literature to back up your justifications. And then expected outcome. What do you expect to contribute with your research? What are the expected outcome? How could the results be used? What do you anticipate um, your research will bring? And then how can the results be used in your field? So you should be, it's not really, you of course, you at this point you have not conducted the research, but you do have like an expected income or outcome, sorry, not income, outcome and an impact that you want to make. So you have to be able to write this clearly, explain this clearly to the person who will be reading your research proposal. And then your timeline, how are you going to conduct your studies? How are you going to complete your studies? Assuming you are doing a PhD and it's 3 years, you have to have a timeline, like a Gantt chart. You have to have a breakdown of what you are going to do in the first year, in the second year, in the third year. There should be a clear timeline. It might not be certain or final, but there should be like a timeline that gives an idea of what you're going to do. When are you going to collect data? When are you going to do your data analysis? When are you going to uh, interview people if you are interviewing? When are you going to seek ethical clearance? There should be that timeline and it should flow. Don't mix up your projects or your activities. You should start with the very first thing, maybe that is seeking ethical consideration, and then you go step by step and explain when you'll be able to. You assign timeline. You assign like duration to each project or activity that you are going to get involved in. And then lastly, you have to have a list of references. Remember, in your literature review, you are using empirical literature. Even for your introduction and your methodology, you have to cite your work. You have to acknowledge other people's work if you're going to use their work. And then you have to have a list of references, APA, Harvard, whatever style. Do not mix the styles. Use one referencing style. If you choose APA, stick to APA the entire document. And you can use a referencing tool so that you don't miss any reference, or so that you don't reference inappropriately. And then if you need me to review your research proposal, I'll be happy to do that. Please book through the link in the description as well. I will not just review your research proposal, I'll also review other application documents that you want me to review, like your CV, your personal statement, your scholarship essays. You can book through the link in the description. All the best with your applications.